I want to thank the Hawaii Bankers Association for letting me speak today. I know that this is a very important conference for all of you. I know that they're working very hard all year long last year, and so we appreciate all of their efforts. So the thing I wanted to talk to you about today is, I know the agenda item says key exam findings, so I will talk about that. But I wanted to talk about a couple other things too. So just want to tell you a story about the exams. So I don't know if some of you have probably been at some of the exams where I've shown up as the examination team, and I know it gave some level of anxiety to the BSA officers or the compliance officers when I showed up. And even I think after I assured the compliance officer or BSA officer that I was only there because we were short-staffed, it was true. I was only there because we were short-staffed. That will happen again. We're almost completely full up of all our examiners, but because of the examination schedule, I could be showing up at another exam at your place sometimes this summer. But rest assured, it's only because we're short-staffed. I just want to assure everybody that I'm saying the same thing to everybody, okay? So there's not a problem. We just don't have enough bodies, okay? And that's what happens when you are a small agency. Okay, so here we go. Some of our examination trends, as I like to call them. So one of the things that we do is as you all know, we examine jointly with the FDIC or the Federal Reserve Bank. We go in together, we have a joint examination report. And what we do is we focus on risks. So these are risk-focused examinations. It's not a new term. I'm sure you folks have all heard about that. But you're probably thinking, what does that mean exactly? Well, we're trying to assess how much risk the bank has based on the questionnaire that you respond to, based on the responses that you give us ahead of time. We try to determine, how long we have to spend, how deep do we have to dig before, we can assure ourselves that you folks have this BSA risk under control. So what do we look at? The 4 pillars, plus the new pillar that's coming up, which is already something that you're doing, right? Can anybody name that? 4 of them? 5? No? Too early. Okay, I get it. Okay, so that'll be your homework. Just try to figure out what those 4 pillars are and what the new one's going to be. Okay? All right, we also focus on staffing. Do you have a BSA officer? How long has that BSA officer been around? Is that person brand new? Does that person have enough education or have the skill set that they need to manage your BSA, here I'm going to say it again, risk within your bank, within your institution? Do you have enough day-to-day staff on your BSA department? There's no magic number. We always get asked, how many people is enough for this BSA department? It's well, as much as you need. There isn't a magic number of how many people it will take to manage the risk in your bank for BSA. So that's the staffing. The last thing for examination trends is focusing on the trends in your bank. So you all know, you all run reports about what's going on in your bank. You know which customers come up in your as red flags or in the various reports that you hope you're looking at on a daily basis, quarterly, semi-annually, annually, whatever that monitoring schedule that you have. I hope you're looking at that and trying to figure out what trends there are. Are more people bringing in extra cash? Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit, about that extra cash that people might be bringing in. Are they sending out more wires? Are they doing what you would think is some sort of suspicious or unusual activity that they haven't done before? All of those things should be something that you're aware of. You don't want us as regulators to come in and say, did you see this before? And without an explanation of what happened or why you think that that's not suspicious or not unusual. So part of your job as BSA officers or in the BSA department is to figure out what story you're going to tell. And don't make up a story, because we're going to figure that out too. But tell a true story about what you think is going on with the customers in your bank. So it could be deposit customers, it could be loan customers, either way. All right, so those are the risk trends in your bank. So again, see the word risk, that's kind of what we're doing. All right, new regulations, because this is job security. Each time they have more and more regulations that pass, guess what? They're not going to get rid of you. They're going to add to whatever staff that you have. So I call this, job security. That's a good thing. Okay, sorry. I know a lot of you know that we're electronic, and now I don't print out paper. And in fact, my staff will tell you, I can't work the printer sometimes. I think I'm sending it to print, but nothing comes out when I run out to the printer. Okay. New regulations. So there's all kinds of new regulations, right? We love them. We love to read. If they're, more than 100 pages, even better. Okay, so the first one, reciprocal beneficiaries. I think you've heard that term before. It's coming up. The compliance date is sometime next year. Anybody know when that might be? Nobody knows? May? May 2018. Okay, you win the prize. I'm sorry, we work for the state, so there are no prizes, but you get a gold star. I should have brought some prizes, but as I said, we work for the state. Okay, so that's coming up. I hope that you folks are all getting ready for that. We do have a panel or a speaker to talk about that, to help you get ready if you are not already thinking about getting ready for that. Hopefully some of your software will help you get ready for the compliance date. So when the compliance date comes up, right, that's not when you start. The compliance date, when they say it's effective this day, that means you got to be ready and turn on whatever it is. So that's my big tip. Elder abuse and financial exploitation. That's a big one for our state legislature. They have today, in fact, this afternoon, I'm going to a hearing talking about the various bills that are talking about financial abuse and financial exploitation, or elder abuse and financial exploitation. They want to change the definitions of that. They want to have you folks do more reporting, help the Department of Human Services monitor our kupuna in making sure that they're not being taken advantage of. So again, new laws, job security, look at that. Okay. So you can thank your legislators if they pass that bill. All right. The last new regulation that I want to talk about is medical marijuana. So this happened, a couple years ago. We're now in the stage where the Department of Health has, turned down their software. They worked really hard. So they turned on their software, and 2 dispensaries are now growing. What I didn't know, and maybe you folks knew this, but they could bring in mature plants as part of their growing. I thought when they said seed to sale, that meant that they're going to start from seeds, and then they're going to grow, and then they're going to manufacture and then sell. I didn't realize that seed to sale meant you can bring in hundreds of mature plants so that in 30 days you can start the manufacture and then start selling. Oh, I learned something. So you folks probably knew that. I was in the dark. Even though I meet with the Department of Health all the time, I just didn't get that fine distinction of what seed to sale really meant. So I know you folks are pretty concerned about opening the dispensary accounts. In fact, nobody has opened a dispensary account. And I can say that with such confidence because they call me on a regular basis, asking me to call one of you folks and say, can you please open my account? We're really good. I have a good track record. I'm only going to distribute or sell medical marijuana. Okay, but as you know, I haven't called anybody to ask you to open an account. I have called people to ask you not to close accounts of those associated or the affiliated accounts. So we'll talk about that. We do have a panel talking about medical marijuana and banking, or it's actually called the other way, banking and marijuana. And just so you know, you folks are still in the majority of the banks within the United States that have not opened marijuana, the actual marijuana company accounts. There are lots of companies that are still doing business on a cash basis. And I know that because we work with the tax departments in some of the other states who are still getting in tax revenues in cash. Okay. So again, job security. Can we all say that? Job security, we like that. And that goes for us too, don't you think? That's job security for us too. We learn something new, we have to try to implement it. And our job as regulators is to help you folks feel comfortable with the laws so that you can manage that risk within your banks. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about is some updates. So I know, we talked about what the risks are. You folks have to manage the risk. You don't want to be told from the regulators that you have new risk or that you're not managing your risk properly. So here's some tips. I got some. CSBS, our Conference of State Bank Regulators, which is, a group of bank commissioners who formed an organization. So we developed a BSA self-assessment tool. So has anybody heard of that? No? Okay, so nobody read my email because I blasted it out when it came out in December. And then I blasted it out, or I tweeted it. Is that the term? I used Twitter to post a tweet saying that this was available. So what it does is it's trying to help you better identify, monitor, and communicate the BSA risk in your at your bank. So the tool is designed to reduce uncertainty surrounding BSA compliance and support you in having more transparency within the financial sector in general. So the good news is we have this tool available. It's free, so the price is right. And sometimes, if it's free, you get what you pay for. This is free, but it's coming from, different bank regulator professionals who worked on this. So I'm not sure if my team actually worked in this. I did work on one piece of it as part of the tool. I was part of the testing group, so we think that it works pretty well. So if you go to the csbs.org website, it's right on the home page. You can go and download it, you can print it out. It's form fillable so that you can use it. And that's the whole purpose, is so you can use it. It's really meant for smaller institutions, although large institutions can use it too. It's really meant for smaller institutions because we know that BSA software is really expensive. And we want you to have the tools so that you can manage this risk. So we put this out, and we hope that it's useful. All right. Let's see. Oh, the other thing that's on there, just because when we work on something, we want to put out a white paper about what it is or why it is that we're doing this. So associated with the BSA AML tool that's on the website is our white paper, talking about the different risks and kind of outlining the state supervision. Okay, so that's one tool. The second tool is for money service businesses or money transmitters. So we know that you folks have some of these accounts, and every year, just like clockwork, a bunch of people, a bunch of banks start de-risking these companies. We love it. We see one bank do this, and then the next one does this, and pretty soon, the last one who wasn't able to move fast, you are holding all of these money transmitter or MSB accounts. Sound familiar? So I've been at the bank where this was going on. It's like, shoot, we gotta hurry up. Everybody de-risk. Okay, so, and we know that this is going on because guess what? All those people, they call us. They go, can you call my bank? They want to close my account. They're only giving me 30 days. I got to find another bank. And of course, when they go to the next bank and try to open the account, they can't do it. Why? Because everyone's doing the same thing. So my message to you from the state regulator standpoint is please do not do this. You know, we're busy enough. As I said earlier, I come on the exams because we don't have enough staff. So you don't want me answering the phone too. You know, I do a lot of things and I don't do them well. And one of the things that I really hate doing is telling people, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't do that. You know, okay, I'm sorry that you've been banking with, you know, whatever bank it is for the last 30 years. They never raised anything with you. You're not overdrawn. You pay the fees. Sorry. Just go look for another bank. We, unfortunately, only have 10 other ones to go to. But, you know, kind of search around. We don't want that to become a cash economy, right? You don't want that to become a cash economy. So I just want to let you know that money transmitters, we supervise them. You know that pain you feel during your bank examinations? We do something very similar to that, to them. So we go in on a regular basis to the money transmitter companies, wherever they're located, and do an exam for 1 to 2 weeks on site, looking at their books and records, making sure that they're not violating any of the many alphabets, including BSA. So, you know, if you see those companies' names on our website, you can be rest assured that we have ongoing supervision over those companies. If you don't see the company name on our website, go ahead and de-risk them if that's your company's policy. But be sure to look at the list because we supervise over 100 money transmitters plus all of their delegates. So the delegates are, you know, all those mom and pop stores that, you know, they say that they are, you know, the money transmitters, and they really are the money transmitters, but they are being overseen by a bigger company which we supervise. Okay, so please don't de-risk them. You know, we feel sorry for them. We don't want that money to go offshore, and we certainly don't want that money to go underground. So if you're having any qualms about de-risking the money transmitters, please look at our white paper on the CSBS website. I did blast that out when we issued that sometime last year. I did actually work on that paper with FinCEN. So, you know, I think it's not because I wrote part of it, but that is actually a pretty good paper about what it is that state regulators do. So we regulate, supervise, and oversee them just like any of our other regulated industries. All right, the last thing is Congress. Okay, so Ed had mentioned, you know, he just got back from Washington, D.C. at an ABA event. So CSBS, our bank organization, we also do that. So we are going out sometime in March to visit all of our friends in Congress, all the Congress people, to talk about our banking issues. We want to, in particular, know what they're thinking because, you know, they have, I wouldn't call them orders, but they have some guidance from the president to get rid of a lot of, or rethink a lot of these laws, right? So just when you're thinking, I have job security, oh, some of these laws might disappear. You'll still have job security. But some of these laws might disappear. It's the 1 in, 2 out, or is it the other way, 2 out, 1 in? I can't remember which way it goes. But anyway, for every law that they want to enact, they have to get rid of 2. So, we'll see what that brings. We know that they're talking about a lot of different changes for Dodd-Frank and for some of the other regulatory laws. So we'll see what that brings. It's always changing. And that's what we like, right? We like all this change. Because why? Job security. Can everybody say that? Job security. So, we want to be sure that you folks are all up on all of these changes. If you're not part of our Twitter friends, or I'm not sure what they call them. If you're not part of our Twitter, we are, I tend to tweet out all of the regulatory guidance that's out there. I'm going to say that our tweets are pretty boring because they're all on regulatory guidance. They're, on what's happening in Congress relating to banking. And then, because you think that we don't have anything else to tweet about, we tweet about all the parties we have. Because, everything else we do is so confidential. I can't say anything else. So, we do have a bunch of followers, or whatever they're called, friends, or whatever. So I suggest that's where, the newest updates come out first before I blast them out to everyone. So if you follow us, you'll get a handle on what's going on. Also, I did create a feed on our website, so it shows the latest tweet that we've done right on the front page of our website, so you can take a look at that. The one that's up there now is, I don't think any of you folks do this, but it's on CECL. If you don't know what that means, you probably don't do it. But anyway, there's some FAQs on CECL that was released by the joint regulators. So that link is up on our latest tweet. Okay, so in closing, we don't know what Congress is going to do. We do know they're going to make a change. That means you folks and the regulators, all of the regulators, including all of the law enforcement alphabets that we have, we'll all be pretty busy trying to keep up on what's going on, what these new laws are going to be about, how it's going to affect what we do, and how it's going to affect our customers. Some of these actions, they will affect our customers. We want to be sure that they're not affecting our customers in a negative way. The regulatory trends for BSA examinations, again, risk. This is a pretty risky area. You want to be sure that you're managing the risk. You have enough training. So you're here today, so you're getting some training. You have enough training. You train your staff. You train all of the bank employees, not just your staff, but all of the bank employees. And then, you know what those risks are. Because as I said, you don't want us as bank regulators to come in and tell you that you have a risk that you were unaware of. All right, I think that is kind of all of our trends. Oh, and the tools, don't forget, there are tools available for you to help you, either get ready for the examination or managing your day-to-day risks at your bank. So we're always available to help you. That's our job. Even our federal counterparts, we are here to help you, even though it doesn't seem like it. We're here to help you. I'm just going to repeat that. If you have a question, please be sure to contact us. We're more than happy to share what we know with you. You might not get the definitive answer you're looking for, but we're here to give you some guidance about how it is that you should approach whatever it is that you're thinking about or the risks that you have at your particular institution. Okay, with that, I will close. And Rosemary, thank you so much.
Can we give her a hand, please? Okay, we're going to start. general session in 15 minutes, so if you want to go to the bathroom or get a